everyone, it's me, Tanya Ross, and it's Christmas. So just in case you're watching this and it's not Christmas, it's currently Christmas whenever this is being recorded. This is going to be a more relaxed session. It is still a Pilates session as such, but we are going to move into more sort of stretching with a little bit of a flow into it, but then we're going to hold a few stretches afterwards, just targeting some of the areas that typically are getting tight in the body. If you're seated more at a desk more, but just as a little bit of a wind down to our Pilates season before we have our break for Christmas. So I hope you enjoy this session. I hope it just helps you to open up a little bit, but I still want you to keep that notion of just being engaged on the way through so that your posture doesn't slump, doesn't let go. So you know it's always still a Pilates session. So enjoy, and yeah, we'll get started. And as you're lying there, getting a sense of how the body feels, how it's connecting to the floor underneath you. If you haven't already closed your eyes, just allow them to close. To internalize your focal point of sensation, that awareness of what you're feeling in contact with the floor underneath you. Getting a sense of where you're maybe holding tension, where you feel that you aren't able to let that connection to the floor be more stable, more supportive. And just allowing another deep breath to slowly move in through your nose and then slowly out through your nose. Again, another deep breath in through your nose. And again, out through your nose. We're going to bring you through a body scan. We're going to connect our minds to certain parts of our bodies just to get a sense of how they're feeling, how they're doing, how they're hanging out right now. So bring your awareness into your feet, to your toes and to your heels. And I want you just to notice, maybe they're feeling in contact with socks if you're wearing them, or maybe it's just the air around them. Just noticing maybe their placement. Can you feel them pointing in the same direction through your toes? Or maybe you notice one leg is turned out a little bit more than the other. So maybe one set of toes are pointing slightly more towards maybe 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. And then moving up the body, draw your attention to your calves, the muscles on the back of the calves, and into your knees. Maybe just getting an awareness of your kneecaps. Can you feel almost where they are placed on your knee? And how much contact you feel with certain parts of your calf against the floor. Or if you're in a bent leg position, just noticing again whether there's material around them or the air, how they feel. And then drawing your attention into your thighs, up around the hip bones, and into your glutes on the bottom. Again, maybe it's just noticing how they are, whether they're resting in the air. Maybe you're feeling how the clothing rests against the skin. But around the pelvis at the back and around the glutes, the big butt muscles, do they feel like they're placed fairly evenly on the floor, or do they feel a bit different? And it doesn't matter if they do, just noticing them. And then moving your attention up, passing the lower back and the belly, and into the rib cage on the back of the body and the front of the body. And just taking a little moment to notice your belly button. Maybe noticing how you feel like you're in contact with the ribs, with the mat underneath you. Maybe noticing the movement of the rib cage as you breathe. Breathe just quietly. Maybe noticing the movement as you breathe in, how the belly button moves with it. And then moving your awareness up towards your shoulder blades, the tops and the fronts of the shoulders, around the collarbones, into the neck and into the head. Noticing if both shoulders feel like they're different, how they're placed on the floor, or maybe noticing if one feels like it's sitting slightly higher towards the ceiling compared to the other. Noticing if you feel like you're centered on your head, or do you feel like you're tilted slightly to one side or the other? Can you then allow your focus to drift down the upper arms, to the elbows, to the forearms, and down into your hands and the fingers. Again, maybe noticing how much of the upper arms and the elbows and the forearms are in contact with the floor underneath you. And maybe noticing where the palms of the hands are. Does it feel like one is resting a little bit more, pointing straight up to the ceiling, or are they turning inwards or turning outwards towards your thighs? And do your fingers feel long and straight, or do they feel like they're curled in? But allowing that sense of observation just to fill your awareness. You're just watching what the body is doing, not necessarily trying to change it, but certainly if anything in your body has felt uncomfortable, maybe now's the chance to home in on those areas. And if you feel like you do need to move in any way, then allow that to happen, to essentially feel whether it's more even or more relaxed. Or maybe you just need to take a deep breath. But whatever you feel like your body needs to do to help you let go and relax. So that it places you into a state of relaxation where for a moment you've been able to just focus on you and what your body is feeling. Which places you in this current moment, just distracted from everything else around you. To relax. Now slowly, just start to bring a little movement into your toes, into your fingers. Maybe starting to move a little bit into your ankles as well, and the wrists. And if the legs are straight, just slowly allowing one leg to bend up and then the other. And then allow the arms to reach overhead. Big yawn almost, just opening everything out. Maybe reaching up with the right arm just to stretch up the right side of the body and let the knees drift a little bit to the left. And then reaching up with the left arm and letting your knees drift slightly to the right. And then allowing the arms to draw down, you can draw the knees in for a hug. And maybe a little rock side to side, just to loosen up the back as it's been resting there pretty still. And then from there, I'm going to bring you feet to the floor, and you can roll yourself onto your side. And if you choose, you can allow the eyes to open at this point if they're not already. And we're going to take just a little moment just to bring you up. Just bringing it up into seated. And whatever way feels comfortable for you to sit, you can just allow the body to rest there. Into a little bit of movement, so we will gradually just pick it up a little bit, and again you can choose to go like softly, just gradually flowing from one position to the next, but if you want to press the stretches stronger you can do, just feel your way through it, what your body feels like. So we'll draw you into your child's pose to start with. Okay, so just knees comfortably apart. Allow the body to drift into child's pose. Just allow a little rock of the ribs side to side. And then find their way back into center. And then allow that sense of curling the tailbone under. As you reach along with the fingers, maybe tenting up onto the fingertips to get a little bit of extra reach. Dropping the armpits towards the floor. And then allow the palms to flatten, pressing down with the hands and rounding the spine, drawing up into your cat. So bring your knees underneath your hips, hands underneath your shoulders, and we're just going to start to let it flow a little bit. So flowing from your tailbone, curling it under, the out breath, lifting your tailbone and then letting the back arch on the in breath. So curling from one to the other. And we'll just take 3 of them. And just feel your way through how the pelvis moves, how the rib cage moves, how the shoulders move. And once you've done 3, sink it back into child's pose. We'll take it into your cat crawl, but the easy version. So we'll go from that child's pose, take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, round the spine coming forwards. And then the in-breath, arching and then softening it back. Out breath, rounding, coming forwards. And in-breath, arching, drifting back. One more. Out breath. And then in-breath as you fold it back, reversing the direction. So whenever you're ready on your next in-breath, you're trying to keep your chin close to the floor. The elbows will go wide a little bit, and then press it up, coming up into your happy cat, your cow. And then curl it under, rounding the spine, coming back, out breath. So in-breath, low to the floor. And then rise up, and then out breath, arch it through. And taking one more. And as you next reach your child's pose, walk your hands to the right, just to bring that lengthen through the left side. So again, you find your level, whether you want to take it there just as a gentle opening, or whether you want to feel maybe up to a possible 7 out of 10 on any of the stretch sensations. So if you want to take it fairly easy, that's fine. But if you feel that you want to have that challenge, you know where to take it to.
Take a big deep breath in and send it to where you feel the opening, that stretch in the left shoulder. And then slowly walk it back into center. And as you take it all the way through to the other side, again bringing that stretch in through the right side, under the shoulder. And then again, take that deep breath in, directing it to where you feel that stretch. And then slowly walk the hands back into center. Rise it up, coming up into your child's pose. So we're going to draw the toes under, okay, and just taking it into a bent leg down dog. So just that little press open of the shoulders. And then walk the feet forwards, and as you walk them forwards, coming up just to a halfway point, a little bit of a bend in through the knees, and keeping that sense of the long spine. So I don't want you to get that round down, but obviously don't want them the happy cat either, finding that in between. So imagine that your hips are fixed. There's a bar that's keeping you at that height that you're at. So when you fold over, you're folding up and over it so that you have that length all the way up through the back of the legs. Letting the body hang down. And maybe just take a hold of the elbows at that point. Just imagine that the weight of the upper arms are pulling the shoulders down out of the sockets. The weight of the head is carrying you towards the floor. But the hips are strong and staying high. And then slowly let the arms dangle down to connect to the floor. And then start to walk the feet in behind. You can take the knees back to the floor. And we're going to lower you down. So lowering the chest down, lengthen the legs out behind. So long and straight. We're going to bring the hands in underneath in Sphinx. So as the elbows are in underneath, that same sense that whenever we do anything supported in the arms, we want to be nice and strong and long, supporting pillars, but then imagine you're pulling them backwards to pull your chest bone further forwards. So just starting to bend a little bit into that mid to upper back. And as you're holding there, just allow the head to drop and then circle to the right. And then drop chin to chest and then circle to the left. And again down, circle to the right. And down and circle left. And as you come back down again, draw the head up into where you feel is the straight line with the rest of your spine. And then from there, if you feel that you're able to, you can start to push a little bit more with the elbows coming off the floor. But remember, when you push in these positions, you're also pulling. So it's a push as well as pulling your chest forward. So if I pull hard enough, my mat's going to come with me. So you're trying to keep that sense of pulling the chest forwards. So you find your level between elbows on the floor or just that little bit of a lift. And then slowly back down. As we go back down, you can rest the head onto your hands, but take a hold of the right foot with the right hand. So you're just going to open up the quad on that side, so the front of the thigh. So imagine that you're trying not to feel a space between your hip bone and the mat. So the glutes squeeze to press the hip down to keep the back nice and long. And whether you're pulling enough that your knees start to come off the floor, you can give that sense of lengthening as if you're creeping the knee away from you. And then slowly release. Change it over to the other side, switching hands. And again, when you take the knee up there, imagine that you're trying to squeeze the glute to press the hip into the floor. You're lengthening through that knee. Maybe it comes off the floor a little bit, but really lengthening through it. And then slowly release. Take the hands underneath the shoulders. Strong press back. And we're going to take it straight into puppy from there. So allow the arms to creep forward so your hips are above your knees. And then you're trying to allow that upper back to sink in towards the floor. So the bend is coming from those prominent ribs and the armpits, opening the shoulders and trying to encourage that mid to upper back bend. And if you can, have the arms long. If you feel like you need a little bit more support with them, you can bend them almost to a diamond position, but still have the hands in front. But trying to get that sense of length so that it's still kind of pulling, but it's like your hips are pulling you back this time to help keep you long through the shoulders. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, start to creep the hands back. And we're going to take the right leg forwards and in between. So we're coming up into that 90-90 position.
And we're just going to take that little bit of a stretch. So you're dropping your tailbone down and then pressing the hip forward to get the stretch. So if the right leg's up, it's the stretch at the front of the left hip. And if you can, bring the left arm up. And then from there, you're going to take the left arm overhead. So it's just going to open up that front and outer hip a little bit more. Take a big deep breath in. And then slowly release, coming back down. But as you come down, let the hips open a little bit more. So you're trying to let those hips increase that opening around the glute. And then rock it back. So you can adjust the hands, keeping roughly the hips in line. So you're not sticking your hips out to the side, but knee and hip in line on that back leg. And then can you find lengthen through your back? And then slowly from there, coming forwards again. We're going to draw that leg in and under, and then switch, taking the other leg up for that 90-90. So again, you're dropping the tailbone down long, and then pushing it forward to bring the stretch into the front of that hip. When we get there, right knee is down, right arm is up, and then taking it across the body. So you're opening up that right side. Take a big deep breath in, and then as you breathe out, bringing it back down. And as you come down, let the hips open just that little bit more, sinking further forwards. And then allowing weight to shift back. Again, try not to let the hips go sideways, keeping them hugged in as you try to find a little bit more length through your back. And then slowly, as you come forwards, bring yourself back into your box, and we'll take a thread the needle. So we'll go right arm through first. As it reaches through, send the hips to the right. Find lengthen through your back as if you're trying to sink your tailbone towards your feet. So you're getting that sense of lengthening. You might feel like your arm starts on the floor, starts to drift upwards a bit. And the left arm, if it feels like you can, imagine you're lengthening it to the front of the mat, but still trying to lengthen your pelvis in the opposite direction away from it. Take a big deep breath in, and as you breathe out, let the body soften. Bring that top arm back in underneath for support, press it up. And then take it through onto the other side, so left arm reaching through, and as it goes through, again, can you send your hips to the left? And then decide, can you reach that top arm to the front of your mat? And as you do, can you reach your hips further back to really elongate that right side? Take a big deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, slide that hand back under and then return into center. So once we get there, we're going to tail wag. So just moving your hips side to side as if you're trying to sneak your hip up the side, same of the body. So just a few of those. And then take it into your disco cat. So just let everything move. So you're going through those little side to side movements, your sad, your happy cat. Really exaggerating that movement with your tailbone. So you're really exaggerating the movement of your spine. And again, round about sort of 4 or 5 each direction. And then once you're done through there, find that lengthen through your back. So we're going to take it a little bit more movement again. So from there, we're going to take that right leg forwards. So you have an option of staying with that previous version that we did. So we're going to be driving it up. We're going to reach both arms up this time if you can. Otherwise, you stay with just the left arm going up. Can you take a hold of the left wrist if you're up there, and then pull it over a little bit deeper as you're still pressing the hips forward but dropping your tailbone down low. So there's just that little bit more effort into it if you choose. Big deep breath in, and as you breathe out, centering and bringing it back down. So then adjusting, either staying with that same lunge or draw the toes under and come into your runner's lunge to find lengthen through your legs. So essentially trying to find that space from knee to ankle, long through the back. And then again, you can either take that back knee to the floor as we fold back, or you can try to push back with the legs a little bit straighter. And they don't have to straighten by any means, but just to where you feel that stretch, still trying to keep a little bit of length in the back.
Now as we come down from here, we're going to add in that twist. So you're coming back, either knee to the floor or runner's lunge. Left hand is planted, right hand is reaching, and then sink the hips if you can. Almost still pulling back, finding length from your knee to your ankle. And then return back into the floor. We're going to take just 2 more of those. Sweep it all the way up and back down. And again, all the way up and back down. Okay, so you can take the knee to the floor, bring that leg in behind, and just as a little bit of an in-between, just take 1 cat-cow, just to round it out, and then to arch. And then find that midpoint, bring the left leg forwards. As you do, you're up into your 90-90 again. Dropping the tailbone down long as you press the hips forward, both arms up if you can, otherwise just the right arm. If both arms are up, take a hold of the right wrist, draw it across your body. A little bit deeper on that stretch to the left. And again, deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, coming back to the floor. And as you do, choose whether you stay in that lunge or do you add into runner's lunge. Sinking those hips along, pressing the knee up on the back leg and finding length where you can. And then option to take that back knee to the floor or just to take it up with both legs somewhat straight. Finding a little bit of length in your back where you can. And then slowly, as you come back to the floor, either knee to the floor or runner's lunge, plant the right hand under the floor, take that twist, reaching up towards the ceiling, and again, trying to lower those hips. Then we're going to take it back down, taking it for 2 more twists. So again, reach it up, press into the floor with the hand, and down, and once more, turning the ribs, and back down. Draw the knee to the floor, take the leg in behind. So we'll take just a little bit of a cat crawl to the floor. So lowering the chin down, sliding it forwards, and then lengthening the legs. So trying to come up into your choice, whether you come back into that Sphinx, whether you have that little push and pull, or if it feels better that you want to have your hands underneath the shoulders, again, it's a push and a pull, just to bring you into a position of a little bit of a back arch. And once you're there, no matter which version you're in, press your right hip into the floor and look over your left shoulder. And then same left hip into the floor and look over your right shoulder. Change it once more, right hip into the floor, look over the left. And then left hip into the floor, look over the right. And then coming back into center, lowering it down, and then pressing it back into child's pose. Let it fold out. And just imagine you're rocking your sit bones side to side. So you're just moving them and letting the body kind of side bend as well. Just kind of wriggling about there. Just getting a little bit of movement in. And then slowly rising it back up. So we're going to take it once more through that little bit of movement. So again, you can choose your depth on the positions. So we're going to come forward with that right leg. So this time as we go into that 90-90, drop the tailbone down, strong in through the tummy, hip press forward to bring the stretch into that left hip. So then as we bring, if you can, again, both arms up or just the left. So if you're just bringing one arm up, your hand is in behind your head. If you're going to bring both, you can use your tricep stretch. So you're going to take that elbow and draw it in behind while you take it into a side bend. So the left elbow or left hand is on your back as you're pulling the left elbow over to the right side, bending to the right. Still trying to press through those hips. Big deep breath in. And as you breathe out, again drawing back to the floor. So again, you can choose whether you want to stay with the knee to the floor or whether you want to come up into runner's lunge. We're going to take both hands to the inside. So we're going to move as if we're moving into lizard. So you're just doing this little press up. So it doesn't matter whether the knee's on the floor, you're just trying to bend the arms, trying to take the body a little bit closer to the floor, just for 3. Okay. And once you've done 3, you can square the hands off, but again, send it back. So we're just going to take it just whichever version you want to take it through, knee to the floor or both legs straighter. But again, finding a little bit of length through your back.
And again, whichever version you're in, just wiggle your hips a little bit side to side. It'll just tweak how you feel that on that front hamstring. Once you've done about 5 little wiggles there, then we'll take that knee to the floor or runner's lunge, and you're into that twist again, reaching it up. Take that hand onto the low back, so fingers pointing down your tailbone. So hands on the lower back or on the pelvis, and then you're going to use that elbow to try to press you round into a little bit more of a twist. Take a deep breath there. And release. So knee to the floor, scoop that other leg in behind, and again we'll just take that 2 cats in between, so that rounding and that arching, and then find your way into a midpoint. Bring that left leg forward. Okay, again pressing it up. Draw the tailbone down, drawing up on the front, pressing into it. Right arm up or both arms if you can. So whether you're taking it to the left, whether you're taking your right hand onto your back, adding in that tricep stretch as you pull the elbow to your left. Still opening up through that front hip. Big deep breath. And as you breathe out, then slowly bringing the hands back down. And once you're down, then again, trying to get that sense sinking into your lunge, whichever version. So can you go into knee on the floor, knee up, 2 hands are to the inside, and then can you do those 3 little press ups? Doesn't matter how deep you're going. So once you've done those 3, center the hands, and then you choose, is it knee on the floor on the back leg or both legs straightening to bring in that stretch. And again, then once you're there, can you do those little wiggles side to side with the hips? 5 little rocks. And once you've done 5 and through there and you're centered, whether it's knee to the floor or whether runner's lunge, right hand onto the floor, reach up into your twist, and then pop that hand onto the pelvis or low back, fingers pointing to your tail, and try to spiral it up a little bit deeper into that twist. And then back to the floor, scoop the leg in behind, and take a child's pose. You choose the width, knees together, a little bit more rounded, knees apart, a little bit more folded at the hips. And that little rock, maybe side to side through the shoulder blades. And then find your way into your mid. Walking the hands back, you can round the spine, just allowing it to roll, coming up head, coming up last. Okay. So, we'll take it into the next bit. We'll do a few more sort of specific stretches. We'll target a little bit on the front of the thighs, okay, because depending, most people are sitting a bit more at the minute and things, so we'll target into there. So we're going to do your pretzel, okay? So we're going to bring you down. If you want a pillow for underneath the head, you can pop one in, but you're going to be taking your hand to that foot. So we've already done a wee bit of it as sort of thigh openers, but once you've got it there, try to pull your knee as far behind as you feel that you can go with it. So you bring that stretch into the front of that thigh. The top leg, if you want to have a slightly softer stretch with a little bit of a twist, you're a little bit more facing up to the ceiling. But if you want to deepen that stretch on the front of the thigh, you're going to roll a little bit more onto your front. So wherever that hand is underneath you that feels supportive, but trying to keep that foot in, still almost trying to keep that sense of the long flat back, so that hopefully that's lengthening out the front of that thigh. Okay, and then slowly you can release that leg, let it lengthen underneath you. Bring yourself onto your side, and I want you to leave that top leg at around about 90 degrees or so. And again, if you need a pillow, you can pop it in underneath your head, okay, or a block or whatever you have, just because the head should be considerable height off the floor with your shoulders being in there. we're going to take a book opener. Okay, we've done a wee bit of twisting so far, but it's just wherever you feel you can. Okay, the arm doesn't have to stay straight. So you're trying to allow the shoulder to open, so it's going to be a wee bit into the chest, but imagine your ribs are trying to turn, and your top knee that's bent is reaching towards the floor in front of you. And then close with the arm. So we're going to take 5 of them. So again, reach in behind, and the eyes are just kind of following the hand where it goes. Maybe using the out breath as you twist, and the in breath as you close. Going to whatever your full range is, or whatever space you have to let you get there. So it's a little bit of shoulder, not trying too hard to kind of pull you over, but allowing those ribs to turn. Okay, so once we're done from there, you can draw both knees in, and we're going to press you up into seated, and then we're going to take you through to the other side. So pretzel first. So if we bring you down, so again it's the bottom leg, you're going to take a hold of that ankle or that foot, trying to bring that knee as far behind as you feel you need to go. And again, then once you're there, just trying to allow, whether it's more on your back that you want to go, allow that twist of the top leg reaching across, or whether you're more on your tummy so that you can pull a little bit deeper into that quad stretch. And again, find your level. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, then slowly release that bottom leg, and just allow yourself to come onto your side a little bit more, with a pillow in if you need it. So again, that top knee around about that 90 degrees, so it's trying to keep you supported to the floor, bottom leg out long. So opening it up, that book opener, so reaching up, letting the eyes follow the hand, and trying to encourage those ribs to turn. So we'll take it through 5. Again, maybe allowing that out breath, and then the in breath to return. That opposition line is the arm reaches up and back, your knee is reaching forwards and away from you. And one more. And then slowly drawing the legs in bent. And then pressing it back up into seated. Okay. So we'll bring it in this time. So we'll get a little bit of the back of the leg, but round the hip on the other. So we're going to do butterfly with one foot. So it doesn't matter which side you want to start with. I'm going to start with my right leg, foot in front of hip, and my left toes inside the knee. And I'm trying to be nice and tall. So from there, you're trying to walk it forwards. Imagine you're hinging at the hips rather than just allowing the upper back to slump. So you're hinging it forwards. Maybe you're taking a hold of the leg. Maybe you're holding onto the mat. Maybe you've got your foot, whatever you can reach to. And allowing a little bit of length to creep in into the back. That any little window, whether you're just relaxing in this position at your edge, or whether you want to find that you can push that edge a wee bit further. Just gradually trying to lengthen the body. Maybe you're pulling a little bit with the arms. Where can you kind of nestle into? And then slowly take a deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, then walking it back. And as you do, then change it over. Okay, so again, trying to sit up nice and tall, and then coming forwards from there, so wherever you can get to, trying to keep the back fairly long. Allowing the body to find its range. Not necessarily working hard just to reach the foot, but just trying to work on that sense of the long back position, the long posture. Can you mosey in a little bit more? And then slowly take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, then drawing it back out. So we'll bring you into diamond from there. So bring the feet together, and you can choose whether you want to be a little bit tighter in your diamond, heads closer to your center, or a little bit further away. Just whatever feels good to you. And again, sitting up nice and upright, if you need to kind of give that little rock as you're creeping forward, still trying to encourage it from a long spine position. And taking it through, maybe you're getting a hold of the feet to help pull the shoulder blades down the back, to pull you nice and long. And when you get there, if for you it feels good to allow the back to round and the head to drape, then let that happen. If it doesn't feel good to do it, then just keep the head in line with the rest of your spine. And then slowly starting to draw the body up. And then from there, we're going to bring it in to the chest. So if you have a pillow, we'll just use that as the wee bit of a chest opener, or you can use a yoga block if you have one. So we'll just use that just as that little rise up for the chest. So along the prominent ribs where your chest bone meets the rib cage, trying to encourage that to open. If you don't like the head draping back too far, then put a pillow underneath the head just to support you. And then from there, drawing the soles of the feet in close. So we're not going to go to butterfly, we're going to go to cross-legged. So once you get the feet in, I want you to like hook the right ankle, hooking the left ankle in place. So the right ankle in front. Now if you need to adjust from there, you can always creep the body closer and adjust the pillow or wherever, but to allow the knees to fall wide. And if you can, with the arms, either down by your sides or out to the sides, maybe it's the I surrender position or maybe it's up overhead. So you can figure out where it feels like it's most beneficial to you to get you open, encouraging the chest to open, front of the shoulders. But to encourage that whole front line to open. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, slowly start to draw the knees in a little. We're going to switch the feet over as you draw those knees in. So you're going to bring the left ankle to hook the right ankle in place. And then again, let the knees drop out. If you want to choose a different arm position, you can. Just choose whatever feels good. If you need to kind of wiggle and shimmy to get yourself in closer to your legs, and then adjust the pillow, whatever you need to do. allowing the body to relax into the floor in whatever way you can. Taking a deep breath in. As you breathe out, helping to draw the legs back in. You can allow the arms to drop down. Take it onto your side just to come away from that pillow. I'm going to bring you up. Okay. So we'll just do a little stretch just for the front of the shoulders. So again, just a sense of the core doing something. We're not stressing it, but just enough that it's keeping you lifted as you tilt it back so that your fingers are pointing towards your toes. The arms back far enough that it opens up the armpit. And then from there, lift up through the chest. So you're trying to kind of pop out the chest a little bit just to bring that stretch in. And the straighter your arms are, the more it's forearms. The more you try to bend them, the more it's going to bring it to the front of the shoulders. And just take a few breaths. And keep that idea that the posture is on so that you're not kind of slumping into it. And then slowly release. We're going to turn the fingers around the other way. So turn them around to point in behind you. And then from there, again, opening up through the shoulders, not letting them collapse forwards. Roll them in behind, almost squeezing the shoulder blades down your back. And then you're going to kind of windscreen wiper the legs to creep your hips forwards away, but only as far as you feel that you need to go, again, to open up that angle at the armpit. To bring the stretch front of the chest, but also into the elbow area, the upper arm. Okay, so once you find your level, you can hold it still. And just breathing into it. Taking one more breath. And as you breathe out, just give one leg a little bit of a kick away to take the weight off the arms. And if you bring your hands just to take a hold of your outside of your feet, the knees can be apart and the feet apart. And then allow the ribs to pull in to round the spine, a little press in with the feet into the hands. Allow the head to relax down. And then slowly take a deep breath in, opening up into the mid-back area. And as you breathe out, then just slowly lengthening the spine, releasing the hands from the feet. And we're just going to let you roll back down again to the floor. And once you get there, take that full body stretch. Reach the arms out, reach the legs nice and long. Maybe reaching through your toes to start with, and then reaching through your heels. And then that alternating stretch, and again maybe reaching through your heels as you reach it long on one side of the body and then on the other. And take a couple each side, maybe even reaching across the body with that arm, just to open up the side waist a little more. And the same to the other. And then drawing back into center, drawing the arms down. And we're just going to take just a little pause. You can allow the eyes to close again, just letting the arms relax down. And just take a little reflection on how your body is feeling. So with the eyes closed, just dropping into your body again. Maybe you have that little memory map of what you felt in your body as we ran through the body scan earlier. So just take a brief moment just to start at your feet. just to see how they feel. Does anything feel any different? Maybe their positioning or the level of contact you have with the floor. Drifting up from the feet to the calves, to the knees, to the thighs, to the hips and to the big glutes muscles. Drifting up past the belly button, the rib cage, the shoulder blades, and up through the neck into the head. And then allowing that sense to drift down the arms, through the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, and the palm of the hands and fingers. Just to notice, is anything a bit different? We're going to take a final deep breath in. Let the out breath go. And then slowly and gently just starting to bend one leg up and then the other. And you can allow yourself to drift onto your side. And then slowly pressing it up into a comfortable seat. And again, it's just that little observation that to notice the difference between how your body feels now compared to what it did before, and hopefully it feels better.